Say what you want about the Giants' 2-8 record. Nothing has been more dangerous to the Redskins of late than a Giants team with nothing to lose. It's the battle of the battered rosters in D.C. this week. It's the Hogsty. Let's get into it.
By fans, for fans, the Hog Style. And now, here's your host, Sean Conti.
Check. Mic check.
Yeah, stereo's fine. That is A-okay.
All right, it's the Hogsty back after a very disappointing week last week. I'm doing okay. I'm pulling through. How are you guys doing, my fellow Hogstyers?
Trying to pull out of the depression, man. I'm struggling
True.
to be positive about this thing. You know, that New Orleans game still bugs me, to be quite honest with you.
The struggle is real.
Yeah.
Oh, it's under my skin, too.
Yeah.
How you doing, Alex?
Well, I've been wandering around D.C. With just like Simon Garfunkel music playing in my head, much like the very depressing scenes in The Graduate.
You gotta go hang out in Lafayette
Lord.
Park and pretend to be a drug addict.
I just sit on benches and stare off at people who are happy and
That's what
wearing
the Saints
winning
did
team
to us.
football gear, and I'm just there in my Redskins gear.
Jamal, bring us out of this slump, please. Say something positive. I know you can do it.
Yeah, I can. So, what helped me was the Seahawks and Falcons game last night.
Nice.
I was able,
Nice.
I was able to take my mind off some things looking at that game and went to sleep happy. But I think the thing is, we are moving forward in the week. So we only have one more day. This is coming out Wednesday, so we only have one more day until Thanksgiving starts, and we get to have some food and actually look at some games, some football,
That's
a new
right.
week of football games.
Now, Jamal, do you want to disclose to the world what really pulled you out of your funk after the game on Sunday?
Well, I mean, after the game, I did go to my trunk and get some liquor. And that,
There we go. There you
see?
go.
that immediately solved my issues for the short term. But then again, I
plot
woke
thickens.
up on Monday and I was still angry. So I don't
And
think
probably
it's worth.
needed to eat something with a lot of grease and meat.
Yeah, probably. Funny thing is, I don't even remember what I had when I ate because I'm still doing that fasting thing. So I don't
you're
even
right.
remember- yeah, I don't even remember what I ate that day. But Lord
Is the
knows.
bottle of liquor on the fast?
Well, I can have it.
Everybody cheats,
I
Alex.
can have it, but at the same time, I really don't even remember what I ate. So I'm gonna just assume it wasn't good. It couldn't have been.
All
Good.
right.
Safe
Matter of
to
fact,
assume.
I do
Fair
know what
enough.
I had. I
That's-
had pizza.
Nice.
pizza.
Pizza
Healthy.
is
Nice.
good to counter the liquor. I know that from much life experience.
Yeah, I had that Sunday night
That's
and
right.
slept like a baby.
I think I had an extra sun kiss that night. That was my,
Steve, you're a wild
I know.
man. You always have
I
been.
know.
All right, well, before we get into the preview, let's, in a continuation of last week's struggles, do we have an injury update for anybody? It's still early in the week, obviously.
No, we
but
have. You really want to do this?
Let's do it.
I think we
Gotta do
have
it,
to. I
and,
think this is the story of the season.
Yeah, it really is. Okay,
gotta
well,
be.
let's start with IR because the IR list has gotten a workout here so far. And
Did.
so what
Big
has
day.
happened this week is that Spencer Long, Sean Laval, Terrell Pryor, and Chris Thompson all got put on IR on Tuesday afternoon. Pryor, it's his ankle, and Jay Gruden said in comments Tuesday that his ankle's actually been bothering him since week 2, and that's why we haven't seen a lot of the speed and explosiveness from him. Take that for what you will. Chris Thompson obviously has the the broken fibula. He's out. Laval is the never-ending stinger, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's what it's starting to look like.
Yeah, well, obviously it's more than a stinger. You don't have a stinger that lasts for 2 months. And then Spencer Long's also out. So, now from an injury standpoint, meaning the guys who are still playing, we have, this is as of Tuesday, we've got the people haven't been practicing all week. McLean, Nicholson, Reed, Rouillet, which we'll talk about in a minute, Spate, Trent Williams. Those are the DNP guys. The guys who are hurt but limited are Ryan Anderson, Matt Ioannidis, Anthony Lanier, Morgan Moses, Tyan Secchi, Samaje Perine, and Brandon Scherf, and then Davis, Dunbar, and Quick are still on the list. So let's start with Rouillet.
So no critical pieces moving into this game, in other words.
I skipped one, Brown. Sorry.
Yeah, Brown's a big
Oh,
one.
great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now,
Thanks for adding that one.
let's
Yeah,
talk about
I heard
Rouillet's
both
injury.
Brown and did you have Spate? You had Spate, right?
I said Spate, yeah.
They're
But
both
Rouillet
in the
is kind
same
of
walking boot.
Yeah, Rouillet is kind of the biggest one actually because that it escalated on Tuesday, and we're recording this on Tuesday night. It escalated on Tuesday. He's actually got a broken bone in his hand and is going to be out for a couple weeks, supposedly. So that means we are down to, drum roll please, Tony Bergstrom is now our starting center. And if you say who,
Hey, Tony.
you say
There you
who?
go, Tony.
Tony Bergstrom, if you recall, was signed off the street a few weeks
Yes,
ago.
this is a recent acquisition.
Yeah, to be a kind of a backup fill-in emergency guard, and now he's our starting center. So, God bless
We've made
Tony.
that joke. We're making dreams come true this year.
Yeah.
Really fast turnaround.
Yeah.
Guys coming from the streets
I
and
think
starting
Bergstrom's
NFL squad.
been on 3 teams this year. I might be.
Oh, has he?
I know he's with the
Popping around.
Dolphins. And now, let's just, since we're talking about, let's just go over the other roster moves that have happened. The Redskins bumped up from the practice squad Pete Robertson, who's been there all year. Pete was the guy who was working at UPS last year. So God bless him. He's made his way to, he's living the dream.
He's one of the
hell yeah.
literal guys who actually been working on at UPS and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Not those
Yeah,
little cliche phrases.
No. He
Not
was
a
literally working at UPS.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, isn't a bad job. If you guys are out there looking for jobs, they pay a lot of money if you end up as a
Yeah,
driver.
I think they're
Yeah.
still. Are they still union? I don't know. I think their drivers are still part of the
I don't
union.
know. I'm not sure if they're union, but they do pay well. But anyway,
This is not a sponsored
no,
advertisement. for
welcome to the
UPS.
employment hour, folks.
Wrong
Anyway,
show.
yeah, LaShawn Daniels is our replacement for the departed Chris Thompson.
That made a. I mean, that we kind of had to go that direction. I don't. Everyone was saying, "Oh, grab a free agent." We didn't have time. We
Well,
quite literally had 24 hours to find a free agent if we wanted one.
It's a big walking boot. to
Everybody
fill right
saw
there.
that the Cardinals released Andre Ellington this week.
Oh,
like
Yeah, but he was
yesterday.
on waivers and went
Everyone, I
to
didn't see that.
Texas first. The Texans.
Oh, he got
Well,
claimed?
but
Yeah.
he got claimed by the Texans, but the Redskins were actually above the Texans in the pecking orders, which means
Are
the
they?
Redskins.
Oh, okay.
Which means the Redskins passed on him.
Oh,
But
look at that.
Wow.
and then finally, we have signed back for about the 18th time. AJ Francis is back with us again.
Yay!
And then
I
welcome
like
back
AJ
again.
Francis,
Welcome home.
so I
At
don't
this
know.
point, hopefully he's just staying in a hotel room nearby Ashburn.
Well, isn't he
Extended
local?
stay hotel.
Like he grew up around here.
Yeah.
I might be. Yeah, so maybe
Yeah, he
he's just
grew
staying
up
at his
around
mom's.
Yeah, hopefully so. Anyway, and then we signed we did sign a center, Demetrius Rainey, and I'd be lying if I said I had known who the heck that guy is before or today, but he is our back. So when Tony Bergstrom goes down with the inevitable injury. Demetrius will be our starting center. So there you go.
Get ready. Stay warmed up, buddy.
Do you have anything written down about him, like even where he played at college, or?
Zero. Absolutely not one thing.
It wasn't Temple, Alex, so you don't care.
All right.
I promise you.
I'll make a quick effort, though, while we're talking.
It probably
if you really
was
wanna
just
know.
because I said that.
I haven't had time to do too much updating of the chart other than just what I gave you.
No, I don't blame you. I haven't done the social media thing either. I usually wait until, towards the end of the season.
Okay, so you ask and I shall deliver, okay?
Awesome.
So, Demetrius Rainey, 6'2", 300 pounds. He went to high school in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, college at Tennessee State. He was drafted in the 7th round of the 2014 draft by the Rams, was there for 3 years, was with the Jaguars for a cup of coffee earlier this year in the offseason, and now he's with us.
So it's not like he's been nowhere. At least he's been on other teams.
Yeah, really.
So.
He was in the offseason with Jaguars, but he did play 3 years with the Rams on their active roster.
That at least means maybe he won't flat out embarrass himself if he has to.
Well, I mean, been sitting at home for the past 11 weeks, so take that for what you will.
That's true.
Be ready for anybody. So is there any other update injuries? Because I understand we have some interesting other injury statistics we've gathered for this.
No, that's it for
right?
for this week's injury report.
Well, just a couple stories there, Steve. Not much. Just a little bit.
Yeah, the good news is the list is getting shorter, but the reason the list is getting shorter is that a bunch of guys have got put on IR. And let me tell you that the next one, I mean, you have to think that Trent Williams and Jordan Reed are going to be next. I hate to say it.
And by the way, I
I
believe this puts us up to 15 guys on IR altogether.
It's 15. You got that from me. It's 15.
Yes.
Good Lord. Heaven help us.
That's a lot of guys.
It's not a record.
No,
but it's getting close.
It's not even the most of any team in the NFL this year.
Yeah, but you know what? If you look at those 15 guys, 10 of them were starters at the beginning of the year.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
10. So that's got to be. We haven't done any math on this, but I would be willing to bet that we've had more starters injured and gone than any other team.
Probably. I mean, the Giants, who were, we're going to talk about this
there.
later, they've got 18 guys altogether, but I don't think 10 of them are starters.
Yeah, and the Texans have lost a bunch of people, big names. So
yeah.
But we have other interesting injury info. Alex, why don't you explain?
Okay, yeah. So somebody tweeted at us, somebody who Sean and Steve and I kind of know, named Greg, and he was just he's been trolling around looking for information on just how many games key players for the Redskins have missed. So I went through the, I kind of been tracking that anyway, not quite that data, but I was able to figure it out. Just went through, pulled up the names of guys who've missed games, and because he's trying to get like a total number of, how many, starters have missed time, basically, missed a game. So, I don't know. Do you guys want me to go through the whole list and give you each guy?
No. Give the headlines and the takeaways, maybe.
How many games is it?
Okay, so the total number I have so far, I came up with 52 starters have missed a game altogether in the first, 10 weeks?
Hold on. Wait a minute. 52 starters have missed a game?
No. Okay, so 52 games have been missed by starters. I should say it that way.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
It's a little weird.
Wow.
The math can be a little confusing. So basically, Brandon Scherf missed 2 games. So that's 2 of those 52.
Right. I see where you're going with that.
And to give you some others, obviously Reed is a big one. He's missed 4 so far. Rob Kelly missed 3. You got Ty Nsekhe. I had him on that list, even though I know he's not a starter, but I consider him.
But the question was really key players. Yeah, that was what.
Yeah.
The guy
So
asked.
I mean, Nsekhe missed 5 altogether.
Yeah.
So that's in every other game he played. 5-10 snaps here and there. That's kind of what he does. He was a good little go and fill in for a guy for a few plays.
There's nothing little about Ty Nsekhe. It's not a good little anything.
It's a unique role. You don't see that on a lot of teams, I feel like, having that key 6th lineman who can do that. Big ones, let's say Mason Foster. He's missed 5 at this point. Norman's missed 2. Jonathan Allen, our first-round picks missed 5.
Yeah.
Everett's
Seems like
missed
it.
2. I consider him key still. I don't know if you guys would add Hall. I added Hall in. He's missed the first 7 games.
Cade,
Well, just think about how many more there are going to be with all the people who
Oh, yeah.
just
and
went under
that's
reserve.
the
I mean, it's
other
just
thing.
insane.
With the key guys who are on IR this year, there's at least 18 more that'll get added to that 52 on offense, another 18 on defense.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I can already hear
factor
it.
Hopkins in, by the way. He's missed 5, and he'll miss the remaining 6.
so that's really 57 then.
Yeah.
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 I can hear it now that this is going to be the big debate, obviously, through the entire offseason. Just, the Redskins aren't good. The scheme's a problem. No, everyone's just injured, and just we're not going to be able to, parse through anything because there's just going to be all this chatter about injuries and how much that factored into everything. I mean, it obviously did, but, there's a chance that other people are getting off the hook just with the,
Yeah, it'll definitely make
our
some
escaping
excuses
analysis.
for a lot of situations going on.
I mean, I went and looked at all 4 NFC East teams. The Redskins and the Giants, who have been struggling, have 14 guys on IR for the skin, or 15 guys on IR for the Skins, and 18 for the Giants, like I talked about. Eagles, I think, only had 8 guys, and Cowboys had something like 5. So
you throw Elliott in there, not on IR, but he's gone now. So
I don't count that because you hit a woman. That doesn't count as going on IR.
no, but it's games missed by starter. So
Sure, okay, but I didn't count it.
Okay.
Because F the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's just it's sort of unbelievable that it's gotten to this point. But you did mention that the Giants are decimated by injuries as well,
Yeah.
and maybe that's a good segue into the preview for this week. So like I said in the intro, it's the battle of the battered rosters here in DC. At least we're playing them at home. I also pointed out that the Giants have had our number in recent years and have definitely played spoiler to us. So we're obviously going to get into our specific predictions at the end here, but what do you guys think in big picture-wise? Or how do you want to take this? Do you want to go offense, defense kind of thing? Or
let's talk about the Giants' offense first because that's what stuck out in my head the most. Looking at this team,
Who sticks out to you on that offense?
well, the fact that they are so bad is what stuck out in my head. They have only scored 162 points on the year, which is 30th in the NFL. 24th in total yards, 26th in rushing yards, 19th in passing yards, and that's because Eli Manning has thrown a ton of passes because they're always behind.
Right. And they don't have a really good running game.
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
But average time of possession, 29th. Third down conversions, 29th. The only thing they do moderately well, their offensive line has done a decent job in protecting Eli, considering how many pass attempts he's taken, just 368, which is
and there's
lot.
a lot of injuries along there, too,
Yeah.
as I understand
And they're
it.
pretty good in the red zone. Now, the one thing that stuck out here, they do have a pretty good player. I'm interested to get Jamal's take on this most because hopefully he'll know more than me. Orleans Darkwa, who is currently their running back. Paul Perkins is hurt. This dude is averaging 4.8 yards a carry. 489 yards on the season and on only 101 rushing attempts. This guy has talent. He just isn't getting a lot of carries, and they're not rushing a lot at all because they're always so far behind. They've only had 230 rushing attempts on the year, which is 29th. But Darkwa has talent, and if I were the Giants, I'd want to stuff that guy down our throats given what Mark Ingram did to us yesterday or last week.
Well, I personally, in terms of Orleans, I've watched him over the years. I haven't watched him studied him in terms of specific backs, but I've seen him play probably about maybe 5, 6, 7 games, something around that area. But Orleans is a guy who I mean he's okay, but he does a lot for an offensive line that doesn't really thrive in the run game. So, I mean, what that means, he is a person who has decent vision, but he's also powerful. He's a power back. So, I mean, he's not like who's the back I can compare him to? His size.
I think in Steven Davis personally.
He's not as big, but yeah.
Well, he's 6 foot 210, power back. Kind of good at everything. Yeah, I'm going back maybe before your time, Jamal. But I mean, that's
I know Steven, but I was thinking recent times. That's all.
Recent?
I
don't know.
That's why I was trying to think of somebody on the spot. But All right,
Is he? Are you saying he's like mostly yards after contact kind of guy, like an Alfred Morris type who never
he's a guy
had?
who falls forward. I'll say that much. But that's
I
all.
don't think he breaks a lot of tackles, does he?
Not much.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he is a person who for our sake. And I was actually going to get to Steve's point. What he said before he was finished is the fact that they are going to try to run the ball against us. And they're not going to hide. They're not going to hide the fact they're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try and stay as balanced as possible. More so, they're going to try and run as often as they can against us. And Orleans, he can definitely have a field day. And what I mean by field day for him, he could probably get close to 100 yards against us.
He put up 117 against the Denver Broncos, so he can definitely do it.
Yeah. So that and I mean I don't know what he did against the Chiefs. I don't think he did.
I can tell you, he did. He didn't do much against the Chiefs. That was the one bad game he's kind of had all year. 20 carries, 74 yards for 3.7 yards per attempt.
And that's still, I mean, that's actually not that bad. Racking up 70 yards with them. I don't know how much their backs had total against the Chiefs. I'm not sure. And also, I don't know. I was going to ask you about Wayne Gallman. Is he injured or is he still playing? Because Wayne Gallman he's a decent option too. He's not that.
Yeah, I was going to get to him. He is. I don't see him. He's not on the injury list. And on the year, I have his numbers here too. I'm on the wrong section here. Wayne Gallman has had 54 carries, 223 yards for 4.1 yards per attempt. He's also had 12 receptions and a touchdown. So he's another guy that can do well. Just Darkwa's had more success by far than any of these other guys that they have, including Perkins.
Yeah, Darkwa. I do respect Darkwa. I just like the way he runs personally. And Gallman, I like him coming out of college. So personally, I can't really say too much about him, but he is a person who's he's just like T.J. Yeldon if you've seen T.J. Yeldon play for the Jaguars. They're very similar in the way they play. So I really like both of those guys, honestly. So we'll see. The Giants do they'll try to run the ball against us for sure. And if we want to keep any type of playoff hopes alive, if they want to, because I'm not looking forward to the playoffs, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. But if they want to keep any playoff hopes alive, then stopping the run is definitely gonna have to be a top priority against the Giants.
And by the way, Dark was a Tulane guy, so he and Rob Kelly are probably friends because they definitely overlapped there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, too, that the Giants are coming off a win last week against the Chiefs. They've only got 2 this year, but they are coming off of 1. In terms of their offense, I think another thing that you can expect is they were dialing up some trickery last week. First of all, they also went for a fake punt last week and got it. They had some option plays, and they had some guys along the offensive line lining up really wide. But I was reading. I haven't been following the Giants super closely, but I've been reading up on them in the preparation for this game, and it sounds like they're getting really creative on offense, sort of in an attempt to compensate for all those injuries. So I think we just got to be ready for anything, and they might be switching up a little bit, to get something going.
Yeah,
Now, they did have an interception, though, on a running back pass?
It was a
one of those trick plays?
tight end pass.
Tight end pass. Yeah.
Alex passed it to Travis, and his dumbass threw it in the Travis.
Kelty.
Yeah.
Well, it was Shane Vereen that threw the interception.
Oh, you're talking about on their
it was?
offense. My bad, I'm tripping. I was saying because the Chiefs ran a trick play too with their tight end through a pick. So that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Chiefs
I think
as
that's
well.
the
Okay.
first time that 2 trick plays have both been intercepted.
Just to give you guys a preview of the Giants passing game here, Eli is Eli. I don't know how the 3 of you feel about him. I'm always perplexed a little bit because he's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame someday, but he's got a career completion percentage of less than 60%. This year he's got an 87 quarterback rating. Eli is Eli, but he's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
Right.
But in terms of
It's the plays in the clutch. That's what's going to define his legacy.
yeah, but on a day-to-day, year-to-year basis, he's had a couple years where he's MVP caliber, but he's had a bunch of years where he's not. But in terms of receivers this year, Evan Ingram. And
Do they have receivers?
Well, Evan Ingram and Sterling Shepard are their guys this year.
Yeah.
You know, because Beckham is obviously out. Brandon Marshall is obviously out. And so, you know, guess what? It's another tight end who's been the most targeted player on this team. He has 78 targets. And then Sterling Shepard. So those are their two guys. And Eli has thrown a lot of passes in the past. But like you said, Sean, I think they'd be fools not to run against us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say Evan Ingram's still a problem. We're gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna be an issue defending him.
Yeah, I mean, if a player has the initials TE behind his name, it's a problem for the Washington Redskins.
Sure. Especially given what we were talking about with the injuries to our inside linebackers.
Oh yeah, we're down to like our 8th-string, linebacker at this point.
Is Marcel Spate hurt, or is he still? He wasn't on the injury report.
He's
no. Yeah,
he's
on
in a
the
walking
injury
boot
report
right now.
I kind of skipped over him, but he has an ankle problem. Has not practiced all week.
All right, well,
I wasn't joking. He's quite literally in this same situation as Brown.
Well,
Yeah, you
It's
said
the
they
same
were in the
kinda-
same boot, which would be maybe awkward when it's come time to shower. But I mean,
It's a three-legged race, Steve. That's what they're doing. That's
Yeah,
that's our
yeah.
game plan.
Well, for
You know,
his sake, we're gonna hope that he stays in that boot because it ain't no. I'd rather not see him step on the field after last week.
You better
yeah,
watch
but the problem
out,
is,
dude.
who are they going to put in there?
right.
They're going to play Pete Robertson.
Look,
I mean,
it
I
can't
guess.
get no worse. It's not gonna get no
Guess
worse.
not.
Jamal just doesn't
Who was
care.
the guy that we signed from our preseason team last week?
Pete Robertson.
Yeah.
No,
Whoever he
the other
was,
kid.
put him in.
Oh, last week. Give me a second here. My
Yeah,
chart
his
isn't
name
up.
started with a T. Like
We don't need to know his name, Steve. Just put him in. That's all
Throw
that
whoever
matters.
he is, he can't get worse.
Whoever he is, put him in.
It's not
That's
gonna
right.
get worse. I've never seen nothing like this. And
Well-
I know we done talked about it already. I just never seen nothing like this.
Well, let me ask you guys this while Steve looks that up. Which defense are we going to get next week? Are we going to get the first quarter Saints game Redskins defense or the fourth quarter Saints game Redskins
Look,
defense?
this
Which
is
one
the
are we
Giants,
getting?
Be a mix.
okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not playing the Saints. We're playing a team that has scored 162 points in 11 games. Or 10 games.
Well, don't doubt that we could make them look amazing.
We
by the way, it
can.
was Zach
we
Vigil I
could.
was thinking of. That's
Oh,
who-
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Get that.
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean the Giants are going to make it easy for us because of the fact that they struggle.
hope.
However, that's not saying anything because we can return the favor for them as well. Like it's just the fact that we're just so banged up. We don't have anybody who's ready to play right now. And even Marcel Spate, if he was ready to play on Thursday, the way he played on this past Sunday, it convinces me, not proves, but it just convinces me that he's best in a backup role. Like his best game was against the Raiders, and he came in a backup role. Wasn't the fact he didn't start from the beginning. He came in to replace Will Compton, I believe, something like that. He played outstanding.
Foster at that point, but yeah.
Nah, Foster missed that game, I believe, and Will Compton came in, and I don't know, but
Foster
either way, I'm about to say,
okay,
I might want to check, but
Oh, I think you're right. I mean, Martrell Spate at this point isn't a starter. I think he is better in the backup role. Unfortunately, he's forced into what he's forced into. But the one guy that's got to do better is Zach Brown. Zach Brown has had 2 bad games in a row, and I realize that he has an Achilles.
Oh, leave him alone, Steve.
Well, I realize he has
Leave
an
him alone.
Achilles injury, and I'm sure that is contributing greatly to his lack of performance. But that's the guy this defense counts on to make plays.
Yeah.
And
No, that's
he
fair.
hasn't made plays, and he's looked bad in the past 2 weeks. Sorry to say it, but that's a guy who's got to do better, particularly if we're going to see a heavy dose of run from the Giants today or Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, those are big injuries. The fact that Nico Marley's still going to be out also, we can't discount that in the
Nico
secondary.
Marley?
Or
Nico
I'm sorry,
Marley.
not Nico Marley.
Nico Marley's not going to be out there either.
I kind of wish Nico Marley was on this team. We just need linebackers
Me too.
at this point.
Yeah, now I'd love to have
Where
him.
did you come up with Nico Marley?
Because I was thinking Nicholson, the safety.
Oh, Monte Nicholson. He's
Yeah.
also hurt.
Yeah,
Nico Marley, nice.
Also out. Everybody's out. No one's healthy.
Kirk Cousins is
Yeah.
healtly.
I mean, what can you say?
I don't
Well,
know
at
if
least we
Kirk
have
Cousins
that.
is healthy. That hit he
He's
took to
not
the
on
head
the
last
injury
week.
report. Yeah. Did you guys see that he had a classic? The newspaper reported that Kirk Cousins got in a fight against Russell Westbrook in a basketball game.
Oh,
They
I
were
saw
talking
that.
about
Yeah.
they were talking about Boogie Cousins, not Kirk Cousins, but you couldn't get two more opposite guys than Boogie and Kirk Cousins.
Well, but
Pretty
I'm
funny.
just worried now that Goodell's going to suspend Kirk Cousins for fighting.
Yeah.
He's on a roll.
Nice.
Yeah, you never know.
All right, well, he's literally our last healthy piece, so we can't have that happen. Well, now that we're on the topic of offense anyway, let's talk a little bit about Redskins offense before we put the kibosh on this thing. Are we obviously
We're screwed.
overshadowed in the disappointing loss of the fact that we scored in every quarter last week and we put up 31 points? I don't think we're going to have a huge problem with that this week, are we?
Well, I mean, we don't. Who's left? We lost
Yeah.
our best weapon in Chris Thompson.
Listen,
that's true.
I don't want to knock Chris Thompson, but
yeah,
he
you're
was a
going to.
good weapon the first 4 weeks. Let's be honest, though. The last, couple games, teams figured him out. He was only getting about 50 yards a game.
I think teams figured out that they didn't have to key on anybody but Chris Thompson.
That's what I was going to say.
and
There's no one
but,
else.
I mean, we still put up 30 points where Thompson was just kind of a, 50 yards a game guy.
Thompson was a side piece.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's kind of like the Davis and Doxson. They're sort of coming alive has corresponded with Thompson falling off a little bit. Obviously, they overlapped a little bit. But no, like I said, we scored in every quarter. I don't think we should have a problem putting up points.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Giants are bad in every way on defense. They don't
Yeah,
do
that's right.
the only thing they do better, they do moderately well, is keep points off the board. Ironically enough, they're only 21st in points, but in almost every other category you could name, they're ranked at the bottom of the NFL. Yards, passing yards, rushing yards, everything. They are they're bad on third downs. They're good in the red zone. Weirdly, they've only allowed touchdowns on 48.57% of red zone trips, which I don't have any explanation for that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll just say, watching some of the game last week, going back and watching it, I do feel like, even though, statistically they're not great, and I don't even think they're very good personnel-wise, they are decent in terms of having, a couple good guys up on the line of scrimmage. I am a little worried about the Giants' defensive tackles versus our MASH unit on the interior of our line right now. I just don't know how we're going to run the ball with fourth string off the street hobo playing center, and I guess it'll be Ty
Harsh.
playing guard, which I love Ty, but that's not the best spot for him.
First of all, I think Tony Bergson's mother is going to come after you for calling her son a hobo.
Well, she'll have to find me, and I'm not going under the bridge where she's living.
Oh, man.
Damn, Alan.
At the very least, he's got
nasty.
a couple NFL paychecks. He can get his mom at the hotel at least. Come on. Man.
Yeah.
Or into rehab where
Exactly.
she belongs, maybe.
No, it's a fair concern. I'm sorry, Steve, because I completely
ahead.
lost track. Who's the healthy running back this week?
Oh, for
us?
us? Well,
For us, that is?
nobody is healthy. I mean,
Nobody's healthy?
P. Ryan is on the list, is on the...
Is probably still going to be the guy.
Yeah, P Ryan is on the injury list himself this week for a finger problem. But the only running backs we have are P. Ryan and then Byron Marshall, we signed off the street last week, and then LaShawn Daniels, who we signed off the street this week. So,
Right.
Those are our running
If
backs.
P. Ryan goes crazy this week again, puts up over 100 yards, how crazy do you think people are going to get?
They're gonna
You think
be-
it's going to be like P. Ryan for president
Yes.
over here because
Yes.
Well, I know
And
one
they're
thing,
going to
it's gonna
forget
be a-
that...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just said, people are going to forget that if he does that, he will have done that against the Saints, who were bad against the run, and the Giants, who can't
the Giants
do
who are,
anything.
who are bad at everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know one thing.
Oh, I can see it. I
It's
can
gonna
see
be
it
a
now.
lot of people. It's going to be a lot of people changing their minds on P. Ryan if he does that, though. A lot of people will be like, well, I liked them all along. They were just going to take him some time
Yeah.
to.
I knew he had something.
I just didn't know when it was going to click, but it's finally clicking.
Is it
I
reasonable
can hear that.
for anybody to believe that P. Ryan is anything but just a guy? I mean, I feel like I'm being too harsh on Samaje P. Ryan for some reason, but I really
I
haven't
just
seen
feel like, how can you
anything.
know, Steve?
Oh,
How can you know?
I haven't seen him do
You know,
anything. I mean, he's had a few good runs, and people freak out. I mean, I just don't get it.
But it's such a poor offensive line. The team's playing so poorly as a whole, and the receivers aren't producing. It's like, how can you? It's so hard to judge one single player's production on an offense that's so bad.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just hard.
I'm kind of more in Sean's camp. I can't. I'm going to have to go back and look at the end of the season and really kind of figure out what they need to do at running back. Like, is this a team where we just need to find one or two guys in free agency, or do we need to consider drafting a running back in the first
draft a
round?
stud running back.
There's so many questions about personnel still on the offensive line, though.
Unfortunately, Alex has got
so
about
many questions.
80, mock drafts to do between now and the end of the year. So,
Well, I only
can't
did one
wait.
today, so
Good Lord.
okay. A couple things about the Giants' defense. They're a horrible pass rushing team. Jason Pierre-Paul, who I heard has a finger injury.
Oh man, we're brutal tonight.
They are. He's their leading sacker at 4.5 sacks. They only have 14 sacks on the year. So if this is one of these games where they allow a jailbreak against the fearsome Giant front seven, we have a big problem. Because that really and truly should not happen. They've been rushed at a ton. They've been passed at a ton. They've been on the field a lot. This is a team that the Redskins, even the bruised and battered Redskins, should be able to score on and move the ball on. There's no reason for it.
I absolutely agree.
Well, okay, so what would you say is the Giants' biggest danger point on like, is it their secondary still? I mean, I know they have a lot more names probably in the secondary than anywhere else at this point.
Janoris, Rogers, Cromartie, Landon Collins.
Apple. Is Apple
Eli Apple.
healthy? I don't know.
I believe I believe they're all healthy actually. I might be wrong. I haven't taken a look at the
No,
injury report.
Apple isn't on the injury report. So
Okay.
all these secondary guys are mentioning, none of them are on the injury report.
So that's probably their healthiest and best unit at this point.
Yeah, they've got a lot of linebackers banged up. Goodson's banged up. Munson's banged up.
Robinson's hurt. Or Robinson's
Their
on
best.
IR.
I think their best defensive lineman's probably Olivier Vernon, and he's been banged up with the
I think.
Right.
Yeah, he has. Jason Pierre-Paul has a knee problem, and he has a finger problem. Harrison is banged up, so their front seven is banged up significantly. So I guess Jamal. I think I agree with what Jamal said. Their strength is probably their secondary.
Stop.
Yeah, or I think Alex was saying that too. No, I would agree. Although, I mean, that's a relative term.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to say anything else about it, or do you want to go right into predictions?
Well, I do want to say one thing. The fact that we're trusting the running back we picked up last week, Marshall, to be the receiving back already is kind of it raises an eyebrow for me.
Who else is going to do it? You going to throw Ryan Anderson out there maybe to have
Ryan Anderson.
I mean, I'm just maybe.
There is not a running back on the roster except Byron Marshall and Daniels. Those are it. We have no choice but to trust those guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's like the reaction to everything the Redskins do this season is, wait, what? Oh yeah, that's the stage you go to. With
it's not like this
breaks.
is like some, like Jay Gruden has weird man love for Byron Marshall. It's
no.
There's literally not another player that is on the roster and healthy but him.
But I mean, if P-Run plays and a finger injury tells me he probably will still play,
he's going to play.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm still.
Did you see P. Ryan try to catch a ball in the flats against the Saints?
I
mean,
the man can't catch.
One drop.
He also had that catch 2 weeks ago for 35 yards.
And the other thing is, though, I'm just kidding, but I mean, I don't think he's a great pass catcher out of the backfield. But you can't have P. Ryan play every play.
Oh no. But I just don't know if I want to trust Marshall as the third down blocking back right away either.
I don't know. I mean,
yeah, we haven't seen it, so it's hard to say what he can do. But I mean,
we'll find out soon.
I do. On a more positive note, I do have some Thanksgiving stats here, trivia, the courtesy of the Redskins. Just because I always go through this thing.
Well, wait, that's not Thanksgiving.
No, that's not Thanksgiving.
Don't jump the
gobble
gun.
like a turkey.
God.
Okay. The Redskins have only played 10 Thanksgiving Day games. Would anybody care to guess what their record is in those Thanksgiving Day games?
We have a losing record. I know that much.
Yes, we do.
3-7.
Yeah, that's fine. 3-7, 4-6, something like that.
No, we're 2-8.
Oh,
Hi-yo.
The only
My
time,
boys.
3 game, right?
and then against Detroit in 1973. Those are the only
wow.
Thanksgiving Day games we've ever won. Here's
Holy
another thing I
moly.
guess I didn't realize. They've never played anybody but the Lions or Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, that's
So-
not surprising. I mean,
I guess it's not surprising, but you're right. Maybe I
Yeah.
shouldn't be surprised at that. This is the first time the Redskins have ever hosted a Thanksgiving Day game, which isn't surprising. So that's Thanksgiving. Here's a little good one I noticed. Kirk Cousins is going to start his 43rd consecutive regular season game this week. That's the second longest streak by Redskins quarterback ever.
We had
Just since
no
the merger.
quarterbacks.
Theismann,
Yeah.
Theismann was. I didn't think any of you guys would get it, but Theismann did 60 games between 1980 and 1984.
okay.
And the record all time is 500 or something like that.
Well, Brett Favre has got like a million games in a row. Brett Favre would have the
Exactly.
record. I don't know how many it
Yeah.
was, but it's a hell of a lot
A
more.
lot
than
of guys
60.
are close to that, though. A lot of guys are close. We're just so far off the mark from that being anything.
Well, Jamal's
anything
right.
special.
We have had no quarterbacks. Jamal's right.
Well, exactly. That's just crazy.
Here's another one. I guess I didn't realize this. Ryan Kerrigan, if he has 7 sacks on the year so far, if he gets a 7.5 sacks, which he could against Eli, he will have tied Dexter Manley for the most seasons with 7.5 sacks or more in Redskins history. Who knew?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually did know that because I saw somebody tweet it out that it would
really?
be him, Dexter, and like only 5 or 6 other guys who've ever done
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's not.
And I'm
it's
gonna
very rare.
read this one because I'm just get tired of seeing it in the game release every single week, and because we just can't get there. This is going to be Jay Gruden's 26th victory in his career if he wins, and the Redskins keep printing that every week after week, and we keep losing, so it just just stays there.
This is going to be the week. This is number
Yeah.
26, baby.
Yep.
I can feel it.
All
right.
You want me to stop? I got a couple more of these. You want me to stop?
I mean, unless you have
pick the
anything
best one.
crazy.
No.
pick the
Okay,
best one.
here's the best one. Yards after catch. The Redskins are second in the NFL in yards after catch in 2017. Second only to
hell?
the New Orleans Saints, and they are
Wow.
third in percentage of passing yards gained after the catch. So what we've all suspected, which is that Jay Gruden loves short passes and yak, is backed up by statistics.
Yep.
So there you go.
Dink and dunk. It's the way
Yep.
to go.
I've got a lot of them,
There you
but
go.
I guess that'll be it for this week. We'll do more some other day.
And Drew Brees and Kirk Cousins, not a lot of interceptions because that's how they play.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, before we do predictions, thanks to everybody who sends us stuff, including the Redskins and even you, Greg the Troll. Thanks a lot. Let's go ahead and
Does Greg listen
do
to us?
predictions.
Do you guys know? Does he listen?
I honestly don't know if he does.
Alex,
Well,
make
if
sure
you
to
are
tell him to
listening,
listen this
Hit
week.
us up and let us know that you heard what we just said.
Because you asked us to do
Absolutely.
it. So
Yeah,
We did
yeah,
it.
please do. We love it. Let's do predictions, guys. Let's do it. Let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's call how we think this game is going to go. I'll go ahead and go first if you guys want.
All right.
go ahead.
Okay. Redskins going to win this one. I hope that we're all relatively in agreement on that. I think we're going to cause some heart attacks by letting it be way too close than it needs to be, but I think we're going to come out with this one. I'm going to say 24 Redskins, 13 Giants.
Okay. I'm going to say that the Redskins are going to be able to move the ball and score against this Giants defense. I do think the Giants just always seem to play as tough, no matter how good these teams are. So I'm going to say 30-24 Redskins.
Wow.
Yep.
Sweet.
I'll go. So I think it's going to be a close game, personally, and I also think that it can go either way. So with it being able to go either way, falls within 7 points. I think the Redskins. Find a way to pull it off, because they have the better offense. I think they find a way to pull it off, and it's the first matchup against the Giants since the end of last year. With that being said, that is an extra little motivation. It may give Kirk a little motivation. I'll just say like 24-21, Redskins.
Oh, you think it's going to be close too?
Yeah,
God, people
I
are going to
actually
have
think
heart
the
attacks
Giants-
all
I
over
think the
DC.
Giants have a really good chance of winning, honestly.
The Giants
So depressing.
beat the Chiefs somehow.
Yeah. They kind of stunned
So
everybody with
depressing.
that one.
Yeah.
All right, so I think it's. I don't know if I'll say it'll be close. I think the score will be close, but it won't feel close in this one in the end. I think the Redskins
Nice.
still put up a good number of points, even though I am petrified about our O-line situation. Maybe it kind of vibes back to Seattle when we had the complete replacement line in there. Okay, so Skins 28, Giants 21.
Nice.
Wow. And by the way,
You guys are predicting big point totals.
in case we didn't say it, this is a must-win game. The season is over. If they lose
Now
this
it's
game,
really a must-win.
yeah,
game.
there's no more leeway. If they lose this game, the season is over, and they need to go into figuring out what personnel they have mode.
Rebuild
In my
mode, yeah.
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, expect to see a lot of experimentation through the end of the year, I bet, if that happens. All right, cool. Well, we will leave you folks with that, and we will be back with you next week. Have fantastic Thanksgivings. We'll see you guys very soon. Take care. Cut.